Alright, it's time to talk about the Knuckles series. A series that I was waiting for a long time. Like, I vividly remember reporting a bunch of Sonic news about their upcoming projects, and one of them was the Knuckles series, alongside stuff like Sonic Prime and Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Like, that day in 2022 was such a good day. Then, as the series got closer to releasing, I've got to say that promotion was good, having the Knuck If You Buck song in the trailers, and they made this thing look action-packed for sure. Alright, it's time to get in here. The Knuckles Show is a 6-episode spin-off mini-series that follows the events of Sonic the Hedgehog 2, the movie. Nice to get a refresher on the events that happened in the last movie from Sonic himself, because honestly, that was such a long time ago, like 2 whole years ago, and I hadn't seen anything Sonic since. But yeah, Sonic recapped his past adventure while laying the groundwork for Knuckles' own arc in this series, which is trying to adjust to life on Earth while training up a warrior. That's the basic synopsis. Getting more into the story, when Knuckles meets the warrior that he's supposed to be training in Wade, he's not training him for combat like hand to hand. He's training Wade to win a bowling tournament, so that's unfamiliar territory for Knuckles. And all of this is happening while they're being hunted by bounty hunters. There's stuff to like here, and there's stuff to dislike. First, starting off with what they got right. The intro is well made. The animation looks great as it shows a few events that happen on the journey, and with the Warrior song, it sounds nice and really sets the tone for this adventure. Now, it is going to take up over a minute of screen time from episodes that have like a 30-minute runtime. The intro is longer than modern, shorter intros that I've seen implemented into some of my favorite shows just to save some runtime. So yeah, that is a thing, but it's not a bad thing at all. Not a deal breaker, like I said. The intro is still a positive, and it's so well made, like, might as well show it off. Next, the show looks amazing. I'm not going to sit here and gush about minute details, but yeah, I just had to throw that in there that the show looks amazing, just like the movies. Like, there didn't seem to be any noticeable budget cuts because Knuckles is a TV series rather than a movie that's going to be shown in theaters. The quality is similar, and it's great that they were able to maintain that quality for the 6 episodes that the Knuckles series got. Next, I've got to say that no one was bad. No one just single-handedly sunk the show, but at the same time, no one really had a standout, stellar performance that's a headliner. No one except for Idris Elba. Although it was only voice acting, in a cast of alright performances, he gave an amazing performance, and yeah, just hearing him in some of those trailers, he was one of the reasons why I got hyped up for this series in the first place, so big dubs. Lastly, for the positives, I've got to say that the story was really good. At first, I thought that this series was going to be about Knuckles training Wade to win this cheesy bowling tournament, which would have been okay, but once the dysfunctional family aspect got established with the father, Pistol Pete, that ran away, and then there's Wanda and Wade having their feud, and the mother just wanting her children to share a Shabbat dinner with her and finally have the family together. Once that aspect got established and this was no longer just about a bowling tournament, but it was also about repairing a family and later on seeking revenge on Wade's father for ditching him and the family, that just added a serious and honestly relatable aspect to this story that got me much more invested. It was such a good arc, and it was nice that in the end, the Whipple family was able to come together and look out for each other and stand up to someone that caused them so much pain because of his own selfish desires. So yeah, Knuckles had such a well-crafted story. Now for the negatives. My biggest problem with this series is the lack of Knuckles. Now, days prior to its release, I heard about Knuckles barely being in his own show and got concerned. But after watching the series, I have to say that the post that I read was so overblown. Knuckles was in the show, but just not as much as I would have liked him to be. The first 3 episodes were solid when it came to including Knuckles, but I can't say the same for the last 3 episodes. They really dropped the ball there, especially in episode 4 that was almost exclusively about Wade versus Jack and Wade slaying his demons from the past. I don't necessarily have a huge problem with this fact because, like I said, I was just talking about the story actually being good. It's worth my time. But the Knuckles title is misleading for sure. Just seeing that, I would think that it's a story about Knuckles and how he learns to live on planet Earth, and seeing more of a fish out of water story of sorts. Even though he was on Earth in the last movie, it was made clear in the intro to the Knuckles series that Knuckles still isn't acclimated to Earth yet. So I would have thought that the series would have been more about Knuckles learning, but the truth is it's like 30% Knuckles learning to interact with the world and finding family with the Whipples, then the rest is like 70% training Wade for the tournament and dealing with family issues and slaying his demons. This is a Wade story with Knuckles in it, kind of like how Space Jam: A New Legacy was a LeBron movie with the Looney Tunes characters in it. I didn't have a huge problem with both of them, but definitely in the case of the Knuckles series, maybe the show could have been even better, or at least not misleading, if that model was flipped to make it a Knuckles story with a sidekick, with a Robin, rather than Knuckles being the sidekick in his own show. Also, minor negative, but I was kind of hoping for more than 6 episodes of the Knuckles series. Now, more episodes doesn't always make a show better. Like, at the time of this recording, I'm just coming off of watching a Velma show that had 2 filler episodes of very low quality that were sandwiched into the show just to get to that 10 episode mark that they were going for. And I've got to say that although I wanted more episodes of Knuckles, this show and the story that they told actually functioned really well in a 6 episode format. Like, nothing got dragged out or overstayed its welcome. So maybe more episodes would have made Knuckles worse, but I've been waiting for this show for some time now, and when it was over, I was like, that's it? I was kind of expecting more, like at least 10 episodes. It was so good, so at the end of it all, I kind of got that feeling like I was watching Wreck-It Ralph. When can I see you again, you know? I know that there's a Sonic Movie 3 coming out in December of this year, but this Knuckles series was solid, and if they went forward with it and gave it another season, just make a few changes and this is a legitimate series. So I wonder if there's going to be more, and if there's more, will the series still focus on Knuckles in a season 2? Or will they try and give everyone some spotlight by making an Amy series or a Blaze the Cat series, something like that? They can make a series and have it tie into the next movie if they want. That would be nice. And it's kind of crazy that, considering how the Sonic movie started off with Nightmare Sonic and Gangster's Paradise, it's kind of crazy that the franchise got a chance to evolve, and it's going to have 3 Sonic movies, and it has a spin-off Knuckles series, and there's a lot of possibilities down the line, which I'm excited for. But wrapping things up, although I didn't get exactly what I was expecting with Knuckles, with him being more of a sidekick in this adventure, I've got to say that this is a great story about friendship, loyalty for sure, and finding strength both physically and mentally on the way to becoming a true warrior. Really enjoyed watching this series. Hopefully there's more where that came from, and I can't wait for Sonic the Hedgehog 3, and yeah, that's it.